feel better about today's performance than last night, I assume.
Yeah, big time. Slept on it, woke up, we're still grouchy. We all came to the field with a little more attitude to us. Kleinschmidt just, dealing on the mound. It's exciting, going 6, shutting it down, and to watch Ferg go out there and get to throw his first inning of the year, and for being a guy who this is his last year in college, to go out and finish out the game for us. Exciting to see him and Weber, another guy who's his last year, to get to hug it out at the end. It was great. And Weber continuing to hammer baseballs, but really we keep quality plate appearances in the dugout, and just watching, like, it's either plus or minus, and just plus after plus down the lineup. Love to see that. Love the energy Tice is bringing over at first base as well. Communicating, and there was a ball hit to second base. Tice takes 2 hard steps at it. Not that that's the one we want to go after, but I love seeing that guys are attacking the baseball. So much better all around.
Can you kind of describe what Ferg just means to this team behind the scenes and the little stuff?
I mean, he shows up every day. Never hear him complain. He wants to go out and compete, even on those midweeks when we have an off day or no game. He's going out there and throwing live to the hitters too, working on his craft, staying ready for an opportunity. And like, he's a great guy to have in the clubhouse, and he's a phenomenal human being, and so I remember when he first got here to Oregon State, and for any of those seniors when they're leaving here after completing 1, 2, 3, 4 years or whatever it is, it's a very emotional time when you see these guys and they get out and play in front of a packed house. For all of them, it's, you got to hold back tears, because we're just very grateful for this place.
With Webby, we talked a lot about him these past couple of days, but just what can you say about just what he's doing and at this time of year, how important that is?
It's great. It's encouraging, because you know that there's still more to come for him. Where he's come in the last 4 years, not only just like ability on the field, but confidence, and grabbing those mound visits, talking to the guys, spending time with each and every one of them. You can ask him to do anything, and he's gonna own it and stick around and do it. And I talked to Whitney about that today too. Freshman leadership. I'm gonna ask more of those guys that can carry the weight to do the little things, showing up early, staying late, taking care of autographs and community service and schoolwork. If you're gonna be a leader here, you're held to an extremely high standard, and Weber has been a huge piece of that. And even on an off day, taking other guys out fishing and counseling them a little bit. A great mental skills coach that he is. So it's awesome. And just watching him in the box, his presence is very strong, physically, but also just radiating to other guys around him. You get excited when he walks up to the plate, right?
You mentioned yesterday about just being home and how much that meant. Just also, you get a little time off after such a busy schedule. You imagine that helping the team?
Yeah, told him I'll see him Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right. So tomorrow and Monday, getting a chance to really just relax, go fishing, take care of schoolwork, lounge a little bit. Hopefully we get some sunshine, so we go sit out in the sun a little bit, but reconnect with family and friends, just clear your head, because then we do have another week and a half to prep up for the regionals. And the way I anticipated is hosting regionals and super regionals, man. These guys earned every bit of it. They've been working their butt off, and I really wish there was cameras following us around all year long to share the story about how special these guys are and how many miles they've traveled, and just the attitude that they've brought on since day one, even since the start of the fall, when we talked about this is the mission, this is what we're going to go do, this is our travel that's ahead of us, how are we going to prepare ourselves the best way possible. And it's had bumps in the road, but they've continued to put their foot on the throttle and keep going through hard times rather than falling apart and into a ditch, man. They've lifted each other up, which is great.
Speaking of those travel days, Kleinschmidt's the guy that throws that game 3, throws that final game of the series, and he's important to just a happy road trip. How much of an impact has he been in those final series to finish each game and have that impact of just bringing smiles on the van every time?
Yeah, he's not a big emotion guy. He's just steady as it goes, and having that guy come in and pummel the zone and close out a weekend is incredible. Like, regardless of what happened the prior 2 days, you have a really good sense of what Kleiny's going to do when he takes the mound, and how he comes to stretch every day, and like how he takes care of his stuff in the clubhouse. Just everything about him says consistency, and that's something that you want, you trust, so you know what you're going to get out of it. And after I expressed my feelings about yesterday's performance as a whole, I know I can raise my voice, and it's not going to affect him. He's going to continue to do the same thing. Canham still got big energy after a run around center field all day, chasing my kids. But can't say enough about him, and he's another guy that still has a handful of things to develop, and he's going to attack him with open arms.
He banged that slider to get out of the first, and then I think it was 13 straight he sat down after that. But did you see him adjust anything, or was it just settling in?
No, settling in. After we had the long inning, he went 3-0 to a guy. Webb takes a mound visit. He dials it back in. Those ones are hard, so those are learning moments as well. When we do have a long inning on offense or some kind of delays, what are you going to do to make sure you're sharp going out there? Because every inning's a shutdown inning. It shouldn't just be like when we score big runs, you need to go out and shut them down. In our mind, regardless of what happened, your job as a pitcher is to go out there and put up zeros each and every inning. Don't give them an inch. And I thought he did a great job of that.
Is it difficult with a bunch of the guys finally improve offensively? Do you want to you wish you were playing them all to keep that groove going? Like how do you make sure that?
I think we're good with a couple days. we could take a couple days to take a breath. We're going to be scrimmaging next weekend, so I'm excited for them to continue competition. I'm not going to just make it patty cake. We're going to go out and we're going to put runners in scoring position and see how they handle those environments. We still have to get better in a handful of pieces. But these next couple of days while the players are resting, it's going to give myself and the coaching staff the chance to really compile those notes and say, what is the next 2 weeks of practice going to look like before we face off at a regional here.
3 hits for Easton over the last 2 days, finally breaking out of that slump. Yeah. What did you see him behind the scenes, and kind of what was his focus on his work when he was going through the funk?
I think bringing back his mojo a little bit. I said, I remember you slid into second base and you're kicking your feet up in the air, and one of the most awkward celebrations I've ever seen at second base. It was never a thing for celebrations, but now seeing it, I say, what happened to that playful guy that was out there enjoying the game, and even running through first base, just showing off his personality and signaling safe. It's not that he was or not, he wasn't, but he's being playful again, and how he's interacting in the cages. And I think it just took a couple guys bringing it up to him, not shying away, having accountability partners. And we all said, hey, we miss that fun-loving guy who goes out there and loves having fun playing baseball with his teammates. And I've seen more of that these last couple of days.
Did you move him back to the top of the order in part to spur that? Because it's rare for a coach to put a guy who's 0 for 30 whatever back to the top.
I just put the lineup in the clubhouse, and then they write it and hand it back, and that's what they gave me.
I would have figured Wilson would have been at the top of the order in that.
Yeah, he would. He's got the strength to do that. No, I'm going to go ahead and hit lead off. A little bit reminding him of that guy that he is. Hey, you are the spark, and he knows that. Something we talked about, and I think a lot of guys feel that way too. If I go, we go. And I said, well, let's get back in that opportunity mode of get in there, seeing pitches early. Like yesterday, even though he gets out first at bat, he responds back by seeing a lot of pitches, and that helps Iva, that helps Turley, that helps Webb down the line. And he's got the capabilities. He's still got an on base of 470, 480. And so he's going to find a way on. He's got 60 plus walks. And so don't let a small stretch of bumps in the road deter us from what you're capable of doing and what he's going to do throughout the postseason.
End of the first independent season for you as a head coach. Just kind of, how do you feel like that has, how do you feel like the resume stacked up? 7 in the polls, or 6 in the RPI, in the top 8 seed range. I'm just curious, how do you feel like this schedule you guys assembled prepared you for postseason?
Well, that was great. Great competition all year, playing on the road. Again, to prep for the postseason, you're going to have to put yourself in some difficult spots. And I think what most seem is like this was a difficult road. And maybe we'll look back and say, man, that was quite a grind, but there's no time for that right now. I thought all of this and playing on the road, playing against great competition has been something that'll really help us, like in the game, yes, but in life as a whole, and has built these guys like a great brotherhood together throughout all of that. There's no better time than experiencing those things, being on the bus and airplanes and hotels. It's going to bring guys closer together. It's where you build those close relationships. So I'm grateful for it. I really am.
Not that it's your style or responsibility, but what would be your message to the selection committee about why you guys deserve a top 8 seed?
It's an important one, but first, is that you on that shirt?
I knew you were going to ask that.
It's Balmer. Balmer from Royal Tenenbaums. Okay. He is my spirit animal, though.
With the headband.
I think, like, for anyone who's on that committee or anyone across the country, I think we all can see it here. No one knows it more than the guys in that clubhouse because we lived it every day. And our humility is strong in that we don't need to boast about everything that we've done or what we're capable of doing. Mm-hmm. But I am the biggest advocate for those guys. And I know the talent level that's there. We all know what they've done throughout the entirety of the year. I'd say try to put anyone else in this situation and see what their success is going to be like. And all these guys chose to be at Oregon State knowing that it was going to be an independent schedule, road games, you name it. They chose to be here, and it shows their passion for this place. And what we're capable of doing on the road has been strong, and what we're capable of doing at home says a lot. And I mean, you've seen it, like it was listed, Goss is one of the top 5 places in the country to watch a baseball game. And it's not only because of the ambiance of the crowd, but also because of the talent and the passion that these guys play with. So I think there's a handful of deserving teams that deserve to host, but I know without a doubt this club and this brotherhood that these guys have assembled is right there at the very front of it.